This morning, millions of people along the East Coast are bracing for Hurricane Dorian as the storm turns deadly over the Bahamas. We'll have the latest on where it's headed.
It's back to school for students, what you can expect this school year in Madison.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning, everyone, and thanks for joining us on this Tuesday, September 3rd, a very stormy first day of school. Lion Energy says there's a lot of power outages this morning because of those storms, including more than 1,000 people affected in Iowa County. I know it's always hard enough going to school on that first day.
Now you have to deal with
rain
this.
and power outages,
Woof.
those poor parents.
I know, yeah. Probably didn't even need the alarm clock today because Mother Nature provided it for you. Lots of lightning and thunder moving through the area early this morning. Now the strongest part of the storms have moved into northern Illinois, so out of our viewing area, but still locations around Monroe are still likely seeing a lot of lightning and hearing thunder, as well as some pretty heavy rain. Here in the Madison area, the activity is much more scattered to isolated. The back edge of the rain is working its way through the area pretty quickly. That's good news. These showers and thunderstorms are moving at about 60 miles an hour. So areas east of Madison still may have to deal with some rain as you head to the bus stop this morning, but west of Dane County, things are already starting to dry out. Temperatures are quite mild. It definitely still feels like summer. 70 here in Madison, 68 in the Dells, 67 in Platteville. It's going to turn windy and humid today with highs reaching the low 80s this afternoon. There is a cold front that will move through during the afternoon hours, bringing another chance, just a slight chance for a shower or thunderstorm this afternoon, but the evening looks dry. Here's a look at your traffic maps this morning. We'll see if anything has changed over the last couple of minutes. A few brake lights starting to show up on the Beltline at Stoughton Road, but no major delays just yet. In and around Dane County, no other accidents or incidents to report.
So at least things smooth on the traffic front.
That's true, and it will be improving through the day.
Okay, thank you, Hattie.
You're welcome.
All right, time right now is 6:02 this morning. As kids in Madison are going back to school this morning, schools in Florida are serving as evacuation shelters. Right now, Dorian is stalling as a powerful Category 3 hurricane as it continues to batter the Bahamas at a near standstill. Meanwhile, people along the U.S.'s East Coast are bracing for the storm. Here's a live look from Fort Lauderdale this morning. More than 5.5 million people are being ordered to evacuate in the U.S. as Hurricane Dorian slowly approaches the southeastern U.S. Nearly 4 million of those are in Florida. The outer bands of the storm started hitting the southern part of the state yesterday, and people are continuing to prepare for the worst.
It rains like crazy for about 15 minutes, and then it dries up, and then the next squall just comes in.
The storm has already killed at least 5 people and damaged an estimated 13,000 homes in the Bahamas. The National Weather Service says the storm is expected to slowly approach the eastern Florida coastline later today.
Breaking overnight into the Channel 3000 Alert Center, the bodies of at least 25 people have been found off the coast of California after a fire on a dive boat over Labor Day weekend. 9 others are still missing. The boat carrying 39 people caught fire early yesterday morning while on the open sea. Only 5 people have been found alive at this point. The search and rescue effort will become a recovery mission this morning.
Also breaking overnight, multiple people are in the hospital after a chaotic night at the Minnesota State Fair. Police in St. Paul say a 19-year-old woman is in critical condition after being hit by a car. Witnesses say there was a fight in the area when the woman ended up being hit in the road by that passing car. Shortly after that, gunshots were heard about a block south of that crash. 3 people went to the hospital with gunshot wounds, but are expected to survive. No arrests have been made yet.
Madison School and Community Recreation Executive Director Jacob Tissue could make his first court appearance today. Tissue was arrested last week on multiple counts of having child pornography. The Madison Metropolitan School District put him on administrative leave following his arrest. The district says he'll stay on leave until the case is resolved.
The city of Sun Prairie will vote tonight on a proposal to fine parents if their child bullies another student. City officials say that parents would get a warning first, but fines would be possible if there were repeated incidents of bullying in a short period of time. A similar ordinance was recently passed in Monona.
Well, we've been getting your family ready to head back to school all month here on News 3 Now this morning. And students at Kennedy Elementary School will walk into classes today seeing positive messages chalked on the school's sidewalks. It's all part of the Chalk the Walk event held yesterday, where students and parents came together to make sure everyone's first day of school will be a little bit brighter.
The idea is just get people really excited for the first day of school and to maybe put some positive messages out there that maybe not every child gets to hear in the morning, and just help them set their day off right, because mornings can be tough, especially on the first day of school. So we're really excited to maybe get people excited tonight and tomorrow morning about school.
Those messages staying in place despite all the rain. Maybe they can re-chalk them this morning. This is the third year for the event, and at UW-Madison, students have some new campus-themed decorations to hang in their dorms heading into the school year. Wheelhouse Studio hosted the Terrace Paint-tacular yesterday. It's considered Madison's largest paint event. UW students and UW Union members made a terrace chair with a sunset designed with watercolor pencils and paper. Organizers say the Paint-tacular is a great way to head into the new school year. UW-Madison students don't have to start classes until tomorrow. But today is the big day for many.
Thousands of kids are headed back to class across southern Wisconsin, including right here in Madison. With the new year comes a new interim superintendent in Madison, and our Maddie O'Neill is live with her this morning on what's ahead for the district in the new year. Maddie, good morning to you.
Hi, Josh and Keely. Yeah, we're here inside La Follette with Dr. Belmore. Not just a big day for students returning to these hallways, but you as well returning as interim superintendent. We also have a new principal here at La Follette. So thanks for waking up early and joining us. What do you guys have planned for today?
Well, lots of great plans. We're welcoming our freshmen today here at La Follette, and they're going to be all excited and ready to go to high school. So we've got a lot of activities planned for them.
And not just big year for students, but teachers, as you're discussing your goals for the year. Last week you had a back-to-school event. What are some of the main goals this year?
Yeah, well, we have obviously the same goals of student achievement in all kinds of academic areas, but we're also working on relationships this year and belongingness and making sure that students and staff feel really welcome in school. We have a goal on Black excellence this year, and so we've got a lot of exciting things happening around that. So those are our main goals.
And I know racial equity was a big topic. Why is that so important this year?
Well, it's really important because it's part of that whole belongingness. And for students to do really well in school, they have to really have great relationships with each other, with their teachers, and really knowing that kids are individual and unique, and all of the things that they bring to school is really important. So we're just calling that out this year, making sure that all of our students feel wonderful and welcomed.
And within the district, a few incidents made headlines with teachers accused of using racial slurs. How does that play into this, and how does the district plan to address that this year?
Well, we've already said that's not to be allowed at all, no matter what. There's no tolerance for that, and we've let our staff know that, and we'll be taking actions if that does occur, and we don't expect it to. We expect it to be a really good year.
All right, well, thank you so much. We'll have plenty of time to touch base with Dr. Belmore in the next half hour. Stick with us. We'll talk more about what you need to know for the school year.
Madeline O'Neill asking those important questions this morning. Thank you, Maddie.
All right, time right now is 6:08 this morning. More local news. A man is facing multiple charges this morning after he threatened people with a knife in an incident on a near East Madison street yesterday. Just after 10 in the morning, 31-year-old Tony Olson was walking in the 800 block of East Main Street with a man and a woman. Police say Olson pulled a knife and verbally threatened them, and when officers arrived, he was still holding the knife before he tossed it to the ground and later taken to custody. No one was injured in that incident, and now Olson faces tentative charges including second-degree reckless endangerment and carrying a concealed weapon. Madison police also searching for a naked burglar who they say stole cash from a downtown apartment. The victim was sleeping in an apartment on South Hamilton Street near West Wilson when he was woken up by an intruder who told the victim he just wanted to wake him up. Police say the naked intruder walked through the apartment before going back into the bedroom and asked the victim if he had any money. The burglar then went through the victim's wallet on the dresser and took the cash in it before leaving.
In Rock County this morning, a couple is awaiting sentencing after pleading no contest to 5 counts of child neglect. In March of 2018, authorities visited the home of Heather and Lakedrick McCoy. Inside, they found 8 underfed, scratched and bruised children living in a house filled with trash, flies, and rat trappings. Heather McCoy had been reported to Child Protective Services 40 times since 1998. This time, the complaint came from her own daughter, who was visiting and saw the conditions the children were living in. 6 of the children living in that home were under the age of 5. The McCoy sentencing will be at 10 this morning.
A Rastafarian church in Madison could find out today whether they're being evicted from their building. The owner of the building on West Mifflin, housing the Lion of Judah, filed for an eviction after the church's founders were arrested on drug charges. 39-year-old Jesse Schwark and 23-year-old Dylan Bangert say they use and distribute marijuana as part of their religion. But the city's attorney sent them a cease and desist letter in April saying there was no documentation to support their claim as a legitimate church. That eviction hearing is scheduled for 9:30 this morning.
The start of the school year can bring some new sources of stress and pressure for your kiddos. Up next, we're continuing our BU initiative. We'll talk with one expert and share how you can make your kiddos feel safer in class.
But first, the kids will probably need the rain gear as they wait for the bus this morning. Patty has her eye on some thunderstorms and a chance for more this afternoon. She's in next with your back to school forecast. This is News 3 Now this morning. Thanks for watching.
Good morning from the News 3 Now First Alert Weather Center. We've been watching some showers and thunderstorms that have been moving through the area. Now the strongest part of the storms south of the Wisconsin-Illinois state line, but there's still some rain left in Monroe and some pretty heavy rain in parts of southern Lafayette County south of Gratiot this morning. Again, the movement on these storms is east-southeast rather quickly, so they are moving out of the area. Here's a wider view of all of southern Wisconsin, and you can see that there are still a few scattered thunderstorms north of Dane County. Again, none of those severe at this point in time. No severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for our viewing area right now. Here's a look at rain totals. Some pretty heavy rain in addition to some gusty winds. We're looking at rain totals in excess of 1 inch or 2 inches. Even some spots, parts of Lafayette County may be picking up almost 3 inches of rain. Again, these are estimated by the radar map, but you can see the heaviest rain stayed west of Madison, where we've had just a couple of tenths of an inch of rain overnight. Now, a wider view across the entire upper Midwest, you'll see that there is some development across parts of southern Minnesota. That's along cold front that will be working its way through the area a little bit later on this afternoon. So the first round of rain moving through, then we'll start to dry out and actually clear out. It'll be windy, warm, and humid with just an outside chance for a shower or thunderstorm later on. The risk for severe weather through the day today is relatively low, just a marginal risk from Madison to the south and east. Here's a look at your probability of precipitation. Again, pretty high this morning, especially if you're east of Madison. Might want to grab that umbrella as you head to the bus stop this morning. No, it's the first day of school for a lot of kids. Might be a wet start as you head to school, but lunch recess will be just fine. We're not looking for any rain then, and just a small chance for a little bit of rain later on this afternoon. Temperatures are quite mild early today. We're talking right around 70 degrees this morning. Dew points are going to climb close to 70 as well this afternoon. So a couple of hours where it's going to feel quite humid today. Your future track forecast model, again, not doing a very good job with the rain this morning. We've had some pretty heavy rain for southern Wisconsin, but as we go through time this morning, it does take the rain out of the area. You can see strong southwesterly winds through the morning, causing temperatures to warm rather quickly. Now, as a cold front moves through, there's an outside chance for a shower or thunderstorm this afternoon, but clearing later on today with highs right around 82 here in Madison. It'll likely stay windy, though, through the afternoon right into the evening. We'll look for those clearing skies to continue overnight tonight. That'll set us up for a much cooler night. Here's a look at that extended forecast then. As you look at the next several days, it is going to be significantly cooler for the rest of the week, especially tomorrow. Highs only in the upper 60s. We do get back into the 70s for Thursday and Friday with a slight chance for a shower. Here's a look at your First Alert traffic maps this morning. We're going to send it over to Josh Tim for all the details. Good morning, Josh.
Yeah, good morning. Just a few brake lights starting to show up on the westbound side of the Beltline near the Stoughton Road exit, but really nothing that'll delay you quite yet. Other roads here in Dane County not looking too bad, just starting to get busier on Verona Road heading north and southbound between Highway PD and the Beltline ramps. No delays downtown around campus, but I would plan on things picking up over the next couple of hours. And other main routes coming into the city, they're moving along at the usual speeds with no major issues. With your First Alert traffic, I'm Josh Tim.
Josh and Hattie, thank you both very much. For a lot of kids, going back to school is more than just making sure you get from class to class on time. It can also mean going back to trying to navigate some of those tricky social situations.
And we thought it would be a good idea to continue our BU initiative with some advice on how you can help your kids be themselves. Dr. Kathleen Hipke is a psychologist at SSM Health, and she joins us now to talk about this. I mean, going back to school, very exciting, but also very stressful. What are some things parents should be telling their kids this morning?
Well, I think that it's definitely a time when there's a lot of nerves, but a lot of kids are kind of craving getting back to the structure and the routine as well. So I think we just want to get through this first day and then just be really mindful of the week that kids are going to be tired and there's just going to be a lot on their plate as they get used to things.
When kids are trying to, get out there and make new friends, what kind of advice do you have? Because that's kind of a tough time too. You're trying to fit in, and I think in this day and age, it's a lot harder for some kids to figure that out.
I think that's a great point. I think the pressures for conformity and fitting in, as you said, are higher than ever, particularly with social media. And so I think that's when the BU campaign is more important. That idea that, as hard as it is to try to encourage your kids to to just really own their own personalities, you know, whether they want to play sports or music or they love animals. I mean, whatever it is to try to express themselves honestly and authentically.
In terms of different age groups, I'm sure the stresses of going back to school for elementary school students is very different from high schoolers. So what are maybe some different strategies there?
Well, for the younger kids, it is a lot about separation and helping them feel safe, you know, that they can get used to their teacher and then be reconnecting to their families. I think for our high school kids, it's, and middle school really too, it's that big transition to a different environment. We have to juggle a lot of things, the social, lots of teachers, and really being available, I think, to hear what their concerns are with that and provide enough support, but not too much, because they're also trying to be independent.
What are some things that you can do at home to try and help out in these situations? Obviously, teachers, they go to training for this type of stuff, but some of the stuff doing at home is hard too.
Right, right. Well, I think, you know, one of the big adjustments in the beginning of the year is sort of basic in some ways. It's like, can we get enough rest? Can we get enough, you know, nutrition in the morning to get out the door and have something in the tank? I think it can be important in the first weeks, especially to kind of minimize a lot of the pace in terms of other commitments and activities, and just sort of have some soft landing ground at home as well to absorb it all.
And I know that, you know, it's not always about this, but we're kind of coming off a summer where we're seeing a lot of shootings, a lot of violence, and that's something I know parents think about. So how do you talk to your kids about that?
Well, you know, I think that's a very good point too. It's coming up a lot, and you know, what we have to really be able to do is help kids identify what is safe about their situation, what they can count on, what they're familiar with in terms of supportive others. For kids who are really preoccupied with those kind of things, we want to really go back to what Mr. Rogers always said, which is focus on the helpers, and that your teachers are there. There are emergency professionals, you know, when necessary. There are ways to contact mom and dad.
Great advice. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, Dr. Hipke.
Thank you.
All right, time right now, 6:21 this morning. Of course, we love stories about people paying it forward here on News 3 Now this morning. Up next, we're going to tell you how a family from Wisconsin Dells is doing just that to make sure kids like their son can get the life-saving help they need.
And it is a stormy start to the first day of school. Hattie will be back in a few minutes with her first bus stop forecast of the new school year when News 3 Now this morning returns.
Welcome back at 6:24 on your Tuesday morning, first day of school. I know you've got one kiddo heading off today.
Yes.
One unlucky one, or
yeah.
lucky one maybe.
Well, he's excited to start
good.
school. Yeah, kind of a wet start though this morning. Maybe he's up a little earlier than he wanted with the lightning and thunder. A cloudy start here in Madison, but we have been watching some showers and thunderstorms. Let's take a look at the radar map. The strongest storms again south of Monroe this morning. For most of the area, things are actually quieting down pretty nicely this morning. So that's encouraging. Maybe not have to use that umbrella in so many locations, but keep it handy this morning. There are still some showers and isolated thunderstorms across southern Wisconsin, so there is that potential as you head off to school that you might need the umbrella. 68 in Watertown, 70 here in Madison, 71 in Boscobel. It's a very mild and muggy start to the day. Last week, you may remember temperatures are down in the 50s overnight, but still feels like summer this morning with temps near 70. As you head to school early today, again, it will be cloudy with that chance for showers or some rumbles of thunder. Drying out for the lunch hour, though. If you have lunch hour recess, shouldn't be any issues going outside, but there is an outside chance for another shower or thunderstorm to pop up this afternoon. Plan on a warm first day of school, though, with highs in the lower 80s. Have a wonderful day.
We'll try to do just that, Hattie. Thank you very much. A Wisconsin Dells family whose baby had a heart transplant is paying it forward.
News 3 Now first spoke with Travis and Melinda Conford last April when their 6-week-old son Heath was awaiting a transplant for his rare heart condition. This July, Heath and his family celebrated the anniversary of receiving his new heart. Heath's parents say the 1.5-year-old is doing great and now even has a 4-month-old baby sister. The Confords have started a nonprofit called A Heart for Heath, which offers area families with children in the cardiac ICU care packages, with the eventual goal of helping with things like paying off mortgages.
A lot of people donate to our family, so we want to give back.
We're fortunate we got to bring our son home, and he's doing well, and I really want to be able to help pay it forward.
Heath's parents are holding a mud race in Boston on Saturday afternoon to raise money for their nonprofit. A blood drive will be held in Heath's honor on Friday, September 27th as well. We have details on those events along with a link to Heath's blog on our website.
Good to see people paying it forward.
Yes, and good to see that boy so healthy.
Oh, so cute. All right, 6:27 is your time right now. And still ahead for us, we've got the top 3 things you need to know this morning before you head out the door.
That includes the latest on Hurricane Dorian, which has been downgraded to a Category 3 storm, but it's still causing damage in the Bahamas this morning as it heads toward the southeastern part of the U.S. That and more local news is ahead on News 3 Now this morning.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now This Morning.
Good morning and thanks for staying with us on this Tuesday, September 3rd. Hattie, looking a little wet out there.
Yeah, we've been watching some showers and thunderstorms. Then quieting down rather quickly this morning, but still a chance for a few raindrops as you head to the bus stop today.
All right, we'll get to your forecast and she'll time it out for us in just a moment. But first, let's get to the top 3 things you need to know this morning. Police in West Texas are saying the gunman in a shooting spree had been on a downward spiral. The 36-year-old shooter was there on Saturday and was a short time before killing those people and wounding more than 20 others. The governor tweeted that he didn't undergo a background check for the weapon used in that shooting.
And in other news, 25 are confirmed dead as search and rescue crews work at the site of a boat fire off of California's Santa Cruz Island. 5 crew members survived when the scuba diving vessel went up in flames and sank early Monday morning. 39 people were on that boat. 9 are still missing.
And rounding out the top 3 this morning, Hurricane Dorian is stalling as a powerful Category 3 hurricane as it continues to batter the Bahamas at a near standstill. More than 5.5 million people are being ordered to evacuate in the U.S. this morning as Hurricane Dorian slowly approaches the southeastern U.S. The storm has already killed at least 5 people and damaged an estimated 13,000 homes in the Bahamas.
Those are the top 3 things you need to know today. And here is Hattie with your first alert weather and traffic.
Good morning, Keely and Josh. Yeah, it's been kind of a bumpy start this Tuesday morning with some showers and thunderstorms rolling through southern Wisconsin. We have had some gusty winds and some very heavy rain being reported with these storms. Here's a look at what's happening currently on the radar map. There are just some widely scattered showers and a few isolated thunderstorms left for southern Wisconsin. The strongest part of these storms has pushed into northern Illinois. Expect still kind of a damp start to the day today. Chances for rain diminish as we head towards the mid-morning hours. Still an outside chance, though, for a shower or thunderstorm to redevelop as a cold front moves through this afternoon. So a lot happening weather-wise today. We start on a very mild and muggy note. Temperatures are in the upper 60s and even still low 70s in some spots this morning. We'll climb to highs in the 80s with strong southwesterly winds shifting to the west. Humid conditions expected today as well. Now let's get a look at those traffic maps this morning. We'll see what's happening on area roads. Starting to get a little busier on the Beltline, especially right around Stoughton Road. A few brake lights starting to pop up on Park Street as well near the Beltline. No other accidents to report, but it still is a little slower than normal through the construction on Verona Road as you approach the Beltline. And that's your first alert traffic.
Thank you, Hattie. Students and teachers are gearing up for a new school year as today marks the first day back in Madison. And last year was marred by incidents involving guns, sexual assaults, and teachers accused of using racial slurs.
Madeline O'Neill's live with the interim superintendent with how the district is looking forward this year. Maddie, good morning to you.
Hi, Josh and Keely. Some of those incidents we've talked about this morning are ones former Superintendent Jen Cheatham says she took very seriously, and Dr. Belmore here with me is no different. We've been talking about the importance of building relationships with students and making it the best year we can. So I'll ask you, how can this district make this the best year?
Well, by certainly being ready to work with all of our children and taking a look at what their needs are, building relationships with them, getting to know them and their families. It's really important that we bring the community and families into the schools. So I think if we all are embracing the same goals, it will be great for our students.
And what would you want parents to know about this year?
Well, this year we're really looking toward, as you said, building those relationships. So we want parents to feel welcome in our schools. We want them to get in touch with us if they ever have questions, and just know that we're here for their kids.
Is there anything this year that you're looking forward to especially?
Well, I'm looking forward to the whole year, basically. But it's really fun for me and good for me to be back with kids and teachers, and it's just been my life, and I love it.
Are there any major changes parents or students should know about going into this school year?
Well, just the safety changes that we've made. You know, there's some different procedures in getting in and out of schools that are going to be better for our kids. There's a few different procedures about communication that we'll be getting to them as they become reality. They're still kind of in the works. But other than that, it's just like be there for your kids and know that we're there for them too.
Always a good message. Thanks for getting up early with us today, Dr. Belmore. Yeah. Well, today the students will be arriving pretty soon. Upperclassmen still have one more day left of summer here, but freshmen will be getting the red carpet treatment with community members greeting them today, so it should be a pretty welcoming day back. Josh and Keeley.
All right, Maddie O'Neill live for us in Madison this morning. Maddie, thank you.
Still ahead, doctors say if your child got the mumps vaccine, they may need to get it again. We have the details in the morning sprint.
And we are just 2 days away from the start of the Packers season. We're talking about an annual tradition in Green Bay and the prep for the big opening night showdown against the Bears. This is News 3 Now this morning. Stay with us. Welcome back at 6:39. We've been asking you to share your morning with us, and Chris sent us this photo of a sunrise over Lake Monona. I think a picture that we need on a morning like this.
We need another morning exactly like this. Certainly not getting it today, but thanks for the inspiration for another beautiful Madison morning, Chris. And what does your morning look like? You can take a picture and post it to the Channel 3000 Facebook page. We'll share our favorites right here on the air.
The oldest rivalry in the NFL is getting ready to kick off the 100th regular season on Thursday. But first, another Titletown tradition has to be completed.
The Packers' original fence was painted yesterday afternoon. Each year, the fence displays a slogan in honor of the season ahead. This year's slogan is "A star shines, a new era dawns," in honor of Packers quarterback Bart Starr, who passed away earlier this year.
The team's head coach, Matt LaFleur, will be calling the plays Thursday against the Bears, and quarterback Aaron Rodgers will be running them. The Rodgers-LaFleur relationship has been under a microscope all preseason, but Rodgers says they're friends. LaFleur says that as far as Rodgers' freedom to change plays goes, there are no rules.
Yeah, absolutely. We've given him, all the freedom. So if he sees something and he's got the green light to do whatever he needs to do to get us into a good play, we're not going to take that from him.
Versus South Florida, the Badgers are getting ready for Saturday's home opener against Central Michigan. The Wisconsin offensive line had to replace 4 starters from a season ago, but Jonathan Taylor had no worries about the big guys up front.
We have Tyler Biadasz back, which was huge. A lot of people talked about our young offensive line, but for him being our anchor, being able to lead those younger guys, I knew we would be fine at that position.
That's what we're keeping striving for, is to be great every week. We have a great group, and I'm excited. We put up, how many points up on the board. Like it's a really good, but we definitely can get better from it, and I'm excited.
6:41 right now. Definitely going to be feeling a lot like football weather as the week goes on. But first, it is a stormy start to our Tuesday. Madison next with another check on our weather as we start this short work week and the first day of school for a lot of kids.
And it's September 3rd. We want to say happy birthday to Henry, Julian, and all the kiddos turning 3 today. Thanks for celebrating with us on News 3 Now this morning.
.45 right now. Live look at La Follette High School this morning on a very wet back-to-school day.
Yeah, not the ideal first day of school
Womp,
weather-wise.
womp, womp. Yeah, Hattie, not so good news there, but maybe a few breaks in the clouds later today?
Yeah, I think some sunshine is definitely possible a little bit later on, but you're right, it is kind of a gray and dreary start to the day and the school year for many students here in Madison. Take a look at the radar map. Definitely not seeing as much activity on the map as we did just an hour ago. Still a pretty large cluster of thunderstorm activity rolling through northern Illinois, but that's south of the state line. For the rest of us here in southern Wisconsin, it's scattered to isolated showers and thunderstorms this morning. They are continuing to move to the east rather quickly, so rain amounts aren't going to be too high with these storms just because they're moving so fast. We have had quite a bit of rain though overnight for southwestern Wisconsin. Looking at a wider view, things are relatively quiet to the west for the time being. We're actually expected to see some clearing start to take place right along the Mississippi River Valley, working its way into southern Wisconsin. So a wet start this morning, then a break with some sunshine. There is a chance though for another shower or thunderstorm later on this afternoon. We'll talk about that additional chance in just a second. The active weather though really is to the south and east in the Atlantic. This is Hurricane Dorian, still a Category 3 storm. Winds are 120 miles an hour. The problem with this storm is that it really doesn't have any motion right now. It's nearly stationary. So it continues to bring strong storm surge to the eastern locations in Florida, especially that eastern coastline. Also rain bands and some pretty heavy winds. Now the movement on this storm is expected to take it to the northwest eventually. This is Tuesday night, so tonight really not moving very far, still staying just as strong. The storm actually hugs the coastline as we go through the week, so we'll be watching it carefully right into the end of the week because the path of the storm brings it very close to the Carolinas by late in the week. So by late Thursday, it could be coming very close to parts of North Carolina. Then it moves further out into the Atlantic as we head towards the upcoming weekend. Now our forecast for today starts mild, near 70 in most spots, 68 in Juneau, but it is actually 70 in Janesville and Madison, 71 right now in Boscoville. Pretty humid today as well. Those dew points are in the 60s. They'll climb a little bit through the afternoon before a cold front moves through, so it is going to feel pretty humid today. Those winds are strong as well from the southwest this morning, around 20 miles an hour. They will be shifting to the west northwest eventually later on today, but they're expected to stay around 15 to 25 miles an hour. So quite a windy afternoon setting up for southern Wisconsin. The future track forecast model not doing a good job with the rain, keeping the heavier rain to the north, whereas it really set up south of Madison, the south and west this morning. The rain clears the area and we'll actually start to see some clearing heading into the afternoon. Outside chance for a shower or thunderstorm, but highs in the low 80s. So still quite a bit warmer today than it was most of last week. Temperatures will cool down this evening though, with that drier air working its way into the region. Tomorrow you actually might want a jacket in the morning. Highs only in the upper 60s during the afternoon, but partly sunny skies expected. We're back into the 70s then on Thursday and Friday. Here's Ruger in Beaver Dam. What a cool picture. Kind of reminds me of all the first day of school photos, you know, right on the front steps.
I love it.
In front of the flowers,
Yep.
looking very polished before, I'm sure, the chaos starts.
Chaos.
That's true.
Which, so cute this morning. Your one son made pancakes for the other one. He's not even going to school today.
Yeah, my middle schooler, he's in 8th grade, so he doesn't have to go to school this morning, but he was up early making pancakes for my younger son. So
That's adorable.
You have raised them right.
Family of the year right there, Hattie.
Oh, they have moments.
We all do.
Yeah.
Thanks, Hads.
You're welcome.
More local news is up next, but first, here's Anthony Mason with a look at what's coming up at the top of the hour. Good morning, Anthony.
Good morning. Ahead on CBS This Morning, we'll take you into the eye of Hurricane Dorian as we fly with the hurricane hunters. Nora O'Donnell leads our coverage from Florida of the slow-moving storm. Plus, a new app lets you put your face in the movies. Wired's Nick Thompson's here with how it works and the potential privacy concerns. We'll see you at 7.
It is 6:52, time for the morning sprint as we get your day started with the most local news.
Addie is keeping her eye on storms for the first day of school, but first we start with our Madeline O'Neill, and actually big storms taking over for Hurricane Dorian. Right now, Dorian has been downgraded to a Category 3 storm, but is still battering the Bahamas after stalling there over the past day. The outer edges of the storm are now also reaching the Florida coast. More than 5.5 million people are being ordered to evacuate in the southeastern U.S. Dorian is being blamed for at least 5 deaths and damaging 13,000 homes in the Bahamas so far.
More details breaking overnight in a tragic boat fire in California as 25 people are confirmed dead as search and rescue crews work at the site of a boat fire off of California's Santa Cruz Island. 5 crew members survived when the scuba diving vessel went up in flames and sank early Monday morning. 39 people were on that boat and 9 are still missing this morning.
Multiple people are in the hospital after a busy night for police at the Minnesota State Fair. Police say a 19-year-old woman was hit by a car last night. She is now in critical condition as of this morning. Shortly after that, multiple shots were fired about a block away. 3 people went to the hospital with gunshot wounds but are expected to survive. No arrests have been made.
Earlier showers and thunderstorms now have exited to the south, but still some scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms north and east of Madison lingering this morning. Definitely a gray and somewhat damp start to the day. Look for rain chances to really diminish after 9 o'clock this morning. Dry through the middle of the day. Just an outside chance for a shower or thunderstorm a little bit later on this afternoon. It's going to be warm, humid, and windy today with highs in the low 80s later on this afternoon.
Summer is ending and it's that time of year. It's back to school for many students, including here in Madison. After a turbulent school year last year in the Madison Metropolitan School District, including security threats, alleged sexual assault incidents in schools, and teachers accused of racism, the district is evaluating its goals for this year. At the end of the year, Superintendent Jennifer Cheatham announced she was stepping down after 6 years to take a new job at the Harvard School of Education. That led to the school board naming Jane Belmore as interim superintendent while they search for a full-time replacement. Belmore tells us this morning this year's focus is on building relationships with students and making them feel welcome, especially on this first day back.
Maddie, thank you very much. The city of Sun Prairie will vote tonight on a proposal to fine parents if their child bullies another student. City officials say parents would get a warning first, but fines would be possible if there were repeated incidents of bullying in a short period of time. A similar ordinance was recently passed in Monona.
Madison School and Community Recreation Executive Jacob Tissue could make his first appearance in court today. Tissue was arrested last week on multiple counts of having child pornography. The Madison Metropolitan School District put him on administrative leave following his arrest. The district says he'll stay on leave until the case is resolved.
Madison police are searching for a naked burglar who they say stole cash from a downtown apartment. The victim was sleeping in an apartment on South Hamilton Street near West Wilson when he was woken up by that intruder. Police say the naked man walked through the apartment before going back into the classroom, or the bedroom rather, and asked the victim if he had any money. The burglar then went through the victim's wallet on the dresser and took the cash in it before leaving.
A man is facing multiple charges this morning after police say he threatened people with a knife. 31-year-old Tony Olson was allegedly walking down East Main Street yesterday morning before pulling a knife and threatening a man and a woman. When officers arrived, he was still holding the knife before he tossed it to the ground and was taken into custody. Olson is facing tentative charges, including second-degree reckless endangerment and carrying a concealed weapon.
A Rastafarian church in Madison could find out today whether they're being evicted from their building. The owner of the building on West Mifflin, housing the Lion of Judah, filed for an eviction after the church's founders were arrested on drug charges. 39-year-old Jesse Schwark and 23-year-old Dylan Banger claim they used and distributed marijuana as part of their religion. But the city's attorney sent them a cease and desist letter in April saying there was no documentation to support their claim as a legitimate church.
And it's 6:56. Let's turn it over to Josh Tim with a look at your first alert traffic.
Yeah, good morning, guys. Starting to pick up now on the westbound Beltline. A few brake lights between Stoughton Road and West Broadway. It's going to add an extra minute or two. Inbound side of John Nolan, you're tapping the brakes at Rimrock and then again at Olin Avenue, making your way into the downtown Madison area. Plan on a couple minutes north end southbound on Verona Road, approaching the Highway PD intersection. And other main routes coming into the city, they're moving along at the usual speeds with no major issues. For your first alert traffic, I'm Josh Tim.
All right, thanks, Josh.
And here's a live look from the Edgewater Sky Cam. Pretty cloudy start to the day. Still some raindrops on the camera lens. Just some light scattered showers lingering now for southern Wisconsin. Maybe a few isolated rumbles of thunder to the north. These rain showers will eventually come to an end as temperatures climb back into the low 80s later today.
All right, Hattie, thank you very much. And thanks for joining us. Have a great first day of school. And we'll see you back here tomorrow morning.